hard to argue with famous Japanese proverb which highlights amazing resilience. Fall down 7 times, stand up 8. Believe me, you would need all the resilience you can get when solving this question. You're presented with the group of shapes, and you need to determine how many rectangles are there. For your answer, you need to select only one out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 6, choice B, 12, choice C, 17, and last but not least, choice D, 18. Let me highlight one of the rectangles for you so you will get an idea. Seems easy, right? Or maybe no. Well, regardless of how you feel, I truly know that you have skills and creativity to tackle this question. Trust in your abilities, and let's explore all possible solutions together. Let's tackle it as a team. Are you ready to show your answer? Let's dive in and compare our solutions. Remember though, even if you're uncertain, keep your enthusiasm high. Each question, regardless of the outcome, offers a chance to learn and grow. I showed you one rectangle, right? But let me show you some tips to solve these types of questions. Number 1 tip is that some rectangles can be part of the larger or smaller shapes presented. And number 2 tip is that you need to use your imagination to determine total number of shapes. I think I already know the answer. Let me reveal all the shapes to you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Would you agree that the answer should be choice A, 6? Well, I am having doubts now because I see more triangles. I also recalled the quote from Mary Holloway. Resilience is knowing that you're the only one who has the power and responsibility to pick yourself up. So I think it's time for me to keep looking. And you know what I discovered? After a little bit of time, I can see 6 additional rectangles here. Let me show them all to you. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. I think we're done here. I am ready to select choice B, 12, as an answer. Are you? But wait, there is more. And now is the time to remember the quote from Mahatma Gandhi. Strength does not come from physical capacity. It comes from indomitable will. With this question, when you feel like quitting, you need to remember why you started. Let's uncover all of the rectangles, not just part of them. If you work hard, you can see 6 additional rectangles. Here they are. Number 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So the correct answer here is choice D, 18. Well, you can't argue with the author, Roy T. Bennett, who once wrote, "The only limits you have are the limits you believe." So let's approach this question with the mindset of unlimited potential, refusing to be constrained by self-imposed limitations. You're presented with the seesaw diagram, and you need to determine based on diagram how much force must be applied at X to balance the seesaw. Your choices are choice A, 4F, choice B, 2F, choice C, F divided by 2, and last but not least, choice D, F divided by 4. I might know what you're about to say about difficulty of this question, but remember, facing a challenging question on the assessment test can feel daunting, but every obstacle is an opportunity for your growth. Take a moment to gather your thoughts, trust in your abilities, and approach this question with determination and resilience. Together, we'll navigate through this challenge and emerge stronger on the other side. Time's up. Are you ready with your answer? Whatever answer you chose, remember, learning through trying and making mistakes is a fundamental process where you actively engage in attempting to do something new or challenging. We encourage and embrace mistakes on this YouTube channel, because when you make mistakes, you gain insights and understand what doesn't work, which guides your future attempts. This hands-on experience and the lessons learned from the errors are crucial for you mastering new skills and knowledge. To answer this question, we need to understand how to balance the seesaw. And to balance it, you need to apply the same force on both sides at the same distances. For example, force F on the left is equals to force F on the right, which makes Seesaw to balance. Let's look at other important components to better understand the question. For example, we have a pivot which is in the middle, and the distances which are represented by the letter A in this particular diagram. Are you interested to learn about the most common mistakes people make answering this question? I think you should be, and the most common mistake is forgetting to account for force and distance to make sure they are in equilibrium. What does it mean? If you change the weight of the objects on the seesaw, or if you change the distance, the balance of the seesaw will change as well. In fact, the closer we move to the pivot, the more force we would have to apply to balance, which means that we should use heavier objects to reach the equilibrium. For example, if we have two boxes on the seesaw, one heavier than the other, you would need to move heavier box closer to the pivot to balance the seesaw. Mathematically speaking, to balance the seesaw, the sum of clockwise movements must be equal to the sum of anti-clockwise movements. Let's build the equation to help solve this challenge. F multiplied by A would be equal X multiplied by A divided by 2. So to solve it, X would be equal to F. So the correct answer here is choice B, 2F. To solve this question, we need to remember the spirit of Oprah Winfrey, who famously said, "Challenges are gifts that force us to search for the new center of gravity. Don't fight them, just find a new way to stand." Let's embrace the challenge presented in this question, viewing them as opportunities to discover innovative solutions and approaches. You need to determine how submerged pencil will look in the glass of water. You're presented with 3 visual choices, choices A, B, and C, and then there's the last choice D, neither. Do you think you know the answer? Well, just like a lot of things in life, this question may not be the easiest to solve. But I have full confidence that you have all the required skills and creativity to tackle it. And I know that you definitely will give it a try by pausing this video. Trust in your abilities, and let's explore all possible options together. Let's tackle this problem as a team. Ready to show your answer? I truly hope your answer is correct. But remember that regardless of being correct or not, every attempt, regardless of the outcome, contributes to your personal growth and development. What's cool about this question is that it gives us the opportunity to refresh our knowledge in the concept called refraction. When you put pencil through the water surface, going from substance of air into the substance of water, the light rays passing through the water are reaching your eyes and they undergo the refraction. Transition from air to water causes the angle of incidence to decrease, leading to a change in the angle of refraction, which bends the pencil's appearance due to the differences in refractive indices of air and water. Refraction can cause the pencil to appear bent or broken at the water surface, and to create optical illusions that affect our perception of objects. But what we know for sure is that it's definitely not going to look just like a regular pencil submerged. If you don't believe me, just try this easy-to-conduct experiment for yourself, which means that the correct answer here is choice B. Hopefully you've nailed this question and now know how to answer similar problems on the test. To get us on the right track with this question and help you solve it, I would like to quote Nelson Mandela. "The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall." So let's approach this assessment test question with determination and perseverance, recognizing that each obstacle we overcome brings us closer to success. You're presented with 3 buckets. Buckets are hanging from the strings, and you need to determine which bucket is the heaviest if all buckets are fixed to equal lengths flexible string. You have 4 choices. Choices are A, B, C, and last but not least, choice D, neither. The only thing obvious here is that this question may seem daunting at first, but I know you have the skills and creativity to tackle it. Trust in your abilities, and let's explore all possible solutions together. Let's tackle it as a team. Are you ready to show your answer? I have no doubts that together we will decode this tough question. And I hope you did give it a try. Remember that every attempt, regardless of the outcome, contributes to your growth and development. To get to the answer, let's first look at the question in more details. We have 3 buckets. Each bucket is connected to the string connectors with the string of the same length. All string connectors are on the same string line. And what we can visually see is that bucket A is in the highest position, bucket B is a little bit lower, and the bucket C is in the lowest position. What does it tell us? What we know from physics is that when multiple objects are suspended from the flexible string, they will settle into the state of equilibrium. In the state of equilibrium, the tension in the string will be equal at all points along its length. However, due to the differences in weight, the heavier bucket will exert a greater downward force on the string compared to the lighter buckets. As a result, the heavier bucket will cause more tension in the string, causing it to sag lower compared to the lighter buckets. This visual cue of the lower position of the bucket C can give you an impression that the bucket C is heavier, even though it may or may not be the case in the reality. But here's the caveat. This would only be true if the distance between string connectors would be the same. This introduces another consideration here, because distance A for the bucket A is greater than distance B, which is greater than distance C for the bucket C. Because the distance shortens between the string connectors, and distance A is greater than distance B, which is greater than distance C, this might explain why bucket B and bucket C is lower still. But it becomes obvious that because the distance between connector shortening, it's impossible to determine which bucket is the heaviest, since shortening of the distance from A to C can explain lower positioning of the bucket, even if buckets would have the same weight. Think about it, because it's very logical. Even if the buckets would be of the same weight, by shortening the distance between string connectors, you will be able to lower the bucket. Based on this, I can conclude that the correct answer here is choice D, neither. But this question is not as obvious. Do you have different considerations? Please make sure to share your thoughts and rationale in comments so we can all learn. You would have to agree that solving this particular problem is like baking a cake. It requires the right ingredients, a bit of precision, and the end result is pretty sweet. I think that looking at each test question this way would be like looking at baking a piece of mosaic of your knowledge, contributing to the bigger picture of your abilities. In this question, you're presented with the set of gears, and you need to determine the direction of the last gear. Your choices for answers are choice A, CW, choice B, CCW, choice C, no movement, and last but not least, choice D, depends on X. Feeling challenged by this question? I totally understand. Remember though, that you are not navigating this path alone. Whether you're a problem-solving expert or a newcomer, I have full faith in your capabilities. Take a moment to gather your thoughts, tap into your imaginative side, and let's triumph over this challenge together. Your solution is almost ready and is definitely within reach. Are you ready with your solution? I hope you are. So let's move forward and compare our versions of the answer. Together, we will unravel the complexities of this assessment test question. I'll ask you for a favor though, and specifically to share your thought process in comments. Your insights might hold the key for all of us to learn and improve. To solve this question, we need to identify which gear is the input, which one is connected to the power source, and which one is the output gear, the final gear that performs the desired task. In the next step, we need to identify the direction of rotation for each gear. Gears can rotate clockwise, this is where abbreviation CW comes from, or counterclockwise, this is what CCW stands for. Let's solve this challenge by following the transfer of rotation from one gear to another. Our first input gear is rotating in clockwise direction. As you might be well aware, when rotation is transferred to another gear, it will be rotated in the opposite direction, which would be counterclockwise. Let's follow the directions for each gear. Input 1 is clockwise, then counterclockwise, clockwise again, clockwise, counterclockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise, and the output gear is rotating in clockwise direction. Let me show you alternative way how you can solve it faster. For example, if the number of gears in between input and output is odd, the last gear will rotate in the same direction as input gear. On the other hand, if the number of gears is even, the last gear will rotate in the opposite direction from the first gear. Let's look at the example. Let's look at the odd number of gears. The simplest odd number is 1. The rotations transferred from input clockwise to the next gear counterclockwise, and then to the output, which would be clockwise again. On the other hand, if there is an even number of gears in between input and output, and the smallest even number is 2, you see how rotation converts from input clockwise to the opposite to input counterclockwise at the output gear. With this in mind, let's solve this challenge alternative way. Let's count number of gears in between input and output. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gears. And since there are 7 gears in between input and output gears, which is odd number, the direction of output gear will be the same as the direction of the input gear. So the correct answer here is choice A, CW, clockwise. I gotta tell you with full certainty that solving this particular problem feels like trying to convince a toddler that nap time is a good idea. A constant struggle with no clear end in sight. Well, the good thing is there is end in sight with this particular question. But let's start with the beginning. You're presented with unusual looking shapes, the combination of circles and triangle. Each shape has 7 numbers. In the first shape, the inside numbers are 5, 2, and 7. The outside numbers are 2, 3, and 4, and then the middle number is 5. In the second shape, the inside numbers are 7, 9, and 8. The outside numbers are 5, 6, and 7, and the middle number is 6. And then in the third shape, the inside numbers are 5, 6, and 8. The inside numbers are 3, 7, and 1, and the middle number is missing, which is something you need to calculate and select out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 6. Choice B, 7. Choice C, 8. And last but not least, choice D, 9. Don't get discouraged here. We support each other in this channel. Whether you're a current subscriber actively tackling challenging questions or an occasional visitor trying to learn new skills and considering a subscription in the future, I have full faith in your ability to solve this problem. Just make sure to grant yourself enough time and think out of the box. Are you ready? I know that you solved it already on your own, but just in case, I am going to continue this adventure. Let's navigate the complexities together and exchange solutions in the end. If you have a better way to unlock this mystery or have any tips on how to solve these types of challenges, please share them in comments. Here's the tip for you on how to solve these types of problems in the future. Because we have inside numbers and the outside numbers, you need to group them and do the calculations. In this particular case, you need to group the numbers on the inside and outside and apply math formula to individual numbers in the groups and to the groups themselves. Let's look at the examples. For example, the first middle number 5 is calculated as the sum of inside numbers 5, 7, and 2 minus sum of the outside numbers 2, 3, and 4. 5 plus 7 plus 2 minus 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals 5. The calculations for the second shape are very similar. 7 plus 8 plus 9 minus sum of 5 plus 6 plus 7 equals 6. Let's calculate then the missing digit. 5 plus 6 plus 8 minus 3 plus 7 plus 1 equals 8. So the correct answer here is choice C, 8. Get ready to flex those brain muscles. This question is making you to think harder than a coffee addict trying to function without their morning brew. Can you sip your way through this mental maze? You are presented with the ball, which falls on the stairs, and with each fall, it changes the number. The numbers starting from the top are 2, 6, 14, 30, and then comes the missing number, which you need to determine and select out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 56, choice B, 60, choice C, 62, and last but not least, choice D, 64. Being an existing subscriber and going through these types of questions with us regularly, or potentially considering to become a future subscriber, I have full confidence that you can solve this challenge on your own by giving yourself enough time to think about it. Are you ready? I am going to continue this adventure, so get set for a fresh wave of intellectual exploration and your freshly brewed coffee as we delve into the intricacies of this amazing question. As you might be well aware, to get to the answer for this particular question, you need to understand the pattern. And the pattern here is that the next number is calculated as previous number multiplied by 2 with addition of 2 to the result. Let's look at the example. For example, the number on the ball when it's on top of the stairs is 2. As it falls to the next step, the calculations are when you need to multiply 2 by 2 and add 2. So the end result of this is 6. As ball continues falling, you need to multiply 6 by 2, add 2, and the end result of this is 14, which is the next number. As we continue, 14 multiplied by 2 plus 2 equals 28 plus 2 and equals 30. To calculate the missing value, you need to multiply 30 by 2 and add 2, which would be equal 60 plus 2 and equals 62. So the correct answer here is choice C, 62. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you for helping us to become one of the largest YouTube channels to help people become smarter, increase your IQ, and to pass any test. If the content of this video was helpful, please make sure to click the like button to help YouTube algorithm promote this video and help other people to find it faster. Giving us a like is also a way for you to tell us that you need more content like this, and when you tell us, we will deliver it for you in the future. For links to free and premium resources, please check the description and comments of this video. You can also go directly to our website, howtoanalyzedata.net, to download the materials related to this topic. I really appreciate your endorsement, support, and patronage of this channel. And thank you for considering to become a member and considering to subscribe. Please leave feedback, suggestions, or corrections in comments. And all the best on your journey. I'll see you in my next video.